And welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves. For the last 20 years, I've been doing this show, and I'm delighted to be in your living room, kitchen, bedroom, basement, wherever you've got that television set on this channel. I'm just delighted to have you again as a part of my world for the next hour. Again, I'm the money lady for the last 45 years. Can you believe that? I have been providing financial advice, solutions, tiers, all those things that go along with helping people to get through this thing called life with success and taking care of their families and all the things that are part of this experience on earth called living. And for many of us, and I don't exclude myself because I didn't get to be the money lady by accident. I learned through the School of Hard Knocks how this system works. And while God blessed me tremendously in the area of understanding money, again, I didn't have the wisdom in so many ways that I have today. So you're the benefactor of all these years of knowledge and information to help you and your family to thrive in this upcoming year. And on the subject of this upcoming year, Happy New Year. Again, 2017 is here and upon us. And I am so delighted to be able to wish you and your family members a wonderful, wonderful 2017. Now let me share with you for the next hour, I'm going to be talking with you, me and you. Okay, it's going to be a direct conversation. I don't have any guests on this segment. It's just me talking, and like some people say, God, she talks about a lot. Well, you know what? I know a lot. 65, I've been around the block a little bit. And frankly, I don't owe apologies to anybody, because to do well in America, you better have your act together, because people are not going to help you. I wish that I could say otherwise, but that is typically not the case. You'll find that your family members will be more conducive to helping you and encouraging you than the world at large. So despite what young people may say and think, I'm going to say to you again, your little circle of friends is going to come and it's going to go, but your family is forever. Good, bad, ugly, that's what God gave you. Live with it, enjoy it, thrive through it all. So in 2017, I want to talk to you about financial fitness. Why? Because that's where it begins. I want to talk to you about your spiritual fitness. I want to talk to you about emotional fitness, and I want to talk to you about health fitness. All four of those. And just for your information moving forward, I am going to be bringing on the show on a regular basis Dr. Rick Howard, who's a naturopathic doctor and who is marvelous, well known throughout the United States, an awesome man, awesome man. I've had him on as my guest. I'm going to have him on much more often, dealing with this issue of health fitness. Why? Because what I have learned, like I said, I've learned some things. It doesn't matter how much money you have if you're sick and dying. I can sell you some life insurance. I'd do that. But I'd rather you know how to take care of your body, know how to attend to the needs of your body so that you can live a long life. I mean, the number of women that die from heart disease, and for the record, African American women are #1 in this category, heart disease. We're up out of here. And I got thoughts about heart disease and why people have heart disease, because your heart is sick. And how did it get sick? And the spiritual basis for the heart sickness. So he's going to be on giving some rather unorthodox suggestions, recommendations, observations about health fitness. And I'm honored to have him on. I'm also going to have, based upon my listener response, which has been over the top, I'm going to have on Dennis Hatchett, who operates in the spiritual realm and is going to be talking about spiritual fitness. I'm going to have him on frequently. Why? Because I heard you. I heard you. You want more of this. You liked him. And I'm here to help you to get through this. And the truth of the matter is that so many people are so convoluted spiritually that they are not able to grasp and thrive in the realm of financial fitness because they just twisted, okay? And if you're one of those twisties, as I call them, then you want to watch the show as well, because he is a breath of fresh air. He's a spiritual man. He's not a religious man. He's a spiritual man, and he works for a living. He actually works a job. Did you hear me? A job. He's been with UPS, United Parcel Service, at Brown Truck for over 36 years, and he interfaces with people every day, as well as his spiritual tentacles. So I'm going to be dealing with the issue of spiritual health. And again, as I said, I'm always going to be your support person in the area of financial health, prosperity, those kinds of things that have to deal with your mindset, mental. Okay, so I'm going to cross over into that as well. Why have not people been able to get a hold of their life and direct it like a finely tuned orchestra? If you ever watch a conductor, and a conductor directs and he tells the violins what to do and the trombones what to do, and he has the cello and the bass fill, and everything is in order. Everything is beautiful. Every instrument knows its place. All of them follow the same music book, and all of them look to the conductor to direct. You don't see a professional violinist in a concert playing Tchaikovsky when everybody's playing Beethoven. That doesn't happen, because they are ordered and they are trained. And so I got to deal with it, because in life, those who are not ordered but are disordered and chaotic are not going to get to the finish line. Did I say it? Yes, I did. Let me tell you what America has for people who think that they are all that and don't recognize that you need a conductor to help you get through some things. You need people that are more seasoned, that are more experienced, that are more trained to kind of light your world, that this is not a season for selfies. Okay, I don't care what the little stick says and how many pictures of yourself you're going to take. This is not the season for selfies, because I'm going to tell you as a truth, yourself is going to disappoint you. You are not going to be there, because the reality is none of us knows enough about everything that we need to know, including myself. Hear me? I consult professionals. I'm not an attorney, so I have attorneys I talk to regularly to get the law and things that I need to know to help me do better. It's all a part of understanding the conductors in the symphony. It's not about self. I'm so serious. It's not about yourself and your emotions and, oh, I'm so passionate about this. Really? Well, then, you know what? Transfer that passion to, I'm passionate about learning so that I and my family can thrive. I recognize intuitively my limitations, and I'm willing to deal with this. Now, why am I saying this up front? And why am I giving you this perspective? I'm saying this up front because many of the things I'm going to share with you on this show right now may not be things that you are familiar with. But let me share something with you. History has repeatedly shown that your lack of familiarity or awareness means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Life moves on, things proceed on. Your lack of awareness about things that could benefit you could prove to be very, very costly. That's what I'm saying. The lack of awareness, the lack of knowledge, the disdain for information unless you have it. Now, I already told you about self. It'll mess you up. There is a interesting story, and it's truth. You can Google it yourself, about the mouse, which everybody knows who does computers, and that's just about everybody. You need the mouse to kind of maneuver around your screen, go to different landing pads, etc. And if you knew the story of the mouse and how Steve Jobs wound up with the mouse that started way, way, way before Steve. The mouse was invented by Xerox, I believe, either Xerox or IBM. You have to research it. But they didn't know what to do with it. They really thought it was a bunch of junk. And so, long story short, it passed from Xerox, I believe, to IBM, who didn't know what to do with it, to Hewlett-Packard, who didn't know what to do with it, to finally Steve Jobs got wind of it and said, Eureka! This is exactly what I need to take my company to the next level. And he took that mouse, that lowly discarded because they didn't have an awareness of what it could do for them. He took that concept and that mouse and that company known as Apple, and the rest is history. So how could a lowly mouse that was discarded, denigrated, disreputable, how did this not, these are brilliant men, how did they miss this? Because they couldn't see what was in front of them. Do you know that can happen all the time? Stuff can be right in front of you and you not even see it because you have not recognized that you don't know everything. Remember what I told you? That'll get you in trouble. You don't know everything, and therefore you make decisions based upon the limited information that you have. And many times it has very bad outcomes. Xerox could have been a billion dollar entity. IBM, Hewlett-Packard. But because of lack of awareness and the inability to see beyond their own world, they didn't take advantage of something that could have changed their world positively. And I want you to keep that mouse story in mind. Some of the information may not be on point, but you Google it, the mouse, and you're going to be astonished about this history and how is it that everybody missed it. And that concept design made a company a mega billion-dollar company. Classic, but very instructional for you as I sit before you today for 2017. You don't know everything. It's not possible. God didn't make it that way. Because if you know everything, you become a God to yourself, which is, I don't need to seek anything. I got all the answers. And I'm just sharing with you that whether you're rich or poor or in between, black, white, Asian, Latino, it doesn't matter. Humans have this flaw. And one of the things that I'm going to challenge you with in 2017 repeatedly is you don't know everything. That's why you look to the conductor, to those who have more wisdom and experience and proven expertise to tell you something. Now, I'm going to go into my piece. I'm going to use the upcoming shows to talk about spiritual fitness and health fitness. But today I'm going to talk about financial fitness and some trends and concepts that you need to be aware of as we move forward through this year. And make no doubt about it, this is going to be the year to break all years, period. You think you're traumatized by politics, which unless you really, really, really are willing to invest the emotional time into that, I just say I pass. I tell folks the engagement in politics is fruitless and causes damage. Families that won't speak to each other because of political preferences. You're gonna disdain your family over a person you don't know intimately, that's not a part of your world? Well, you don't understand. No, oh, but I do understand. I understand that this world is full of all kinds of people. Many of them that aren't wrapped right. Many of them that don't see what you see and do what you do. But you, at the end of the day, you got to live your life. You got to take care of yourself first. Take care of your family, your wife if you're married. Attend to the daily affairs. And you don't really have time for distractions unless you have a vested interest. And you exercise your vested interest in America by going to the polls and voting. Okay, that's the ultimate expression of your vested interest on a local, regional, national level. That's what we do. You still got to live. You still got to work. You still got to deal with day-to-days. That's reality. Again, I'm talking to you, trying to give you some information that can help you in the days ahead, because there are many things we cannot control. And that's reality number one about life. But let's talk about the things you can control that are within your scope of authority. You know, we all have spheres of authority, things that we can impact, things that we can do. And it mainly starts with yourself, which is I will exercise authority over myself. And that includes a biggie. I will exercise authority over my thinking. That's where I'm going to start in 2017. My thinking says, as I think, I will be. So if you are always on the negative train, don't expect your train to go far, because it is in contradiction to the law of physics, which is everything is always moving forward, always moving forward. Things get sick and die. Living things live and thrive. Things get sick and die. Got it? If you cannot handle your mind so as to keep you on a train that is positive, encouraging to yourself, starting your day off clear that you are empowered to do you. I tell people all the time, my God, would you do you? And stop trying to do everybody else, okay? Because only they can do themselves. You can give them help, you can give them advice, but ultimately the scope of authority that you have with regard to them, unless they are children in your household under your roof, is zero. You get that? Zero. You don't have scope of authority over other people and what they choose to do, nor do you have scope of authority over their outcomes. Because if they make poor decisions and they are adults, the only person that's going to pay for that poor decision is them. Which is why I talk about financial fitness. To spend 45 years of your life and wind up ready to retire, and according to statistics, the average retiree retires with $135,000. That's average. Some of them are much less. I read a statistic that said $25,000. I believe that one. Why? Because money moves, okay? And if you don't exercise authority over that piece of paper, it's leaving you. It's just going to say, oh my God, I got to find somebody that wants to handle me. And zip, out the door it will go. Literally, money has legs. And they got to be marathon runners, because they're like, I can't wait to get away. I can't wait to get away. I can't wait to. And you're helping me because you won't exercise authority in the area that you have been given authority, which is yourself. Okay? That comes under self-discipline. Oh, did I say discipline? Does that sound like order? Does that sound like somebody's telling me what to do? Well, viewers, I'm not telling you what to do. But if you live this life in an undisciplined and unordered way, with regard to your personal life, and it spills over into your money or financial life, nobody has anything for you at the end of the day. Nobody. This is America, land of the free, home of the brave. Don't be out here playing around. And I do mean that. I have entertained over the last 40 years. I'm 65. I started in the financial industry when I was I was 21. I was in graduate school and got involved with international finance and all those things. And I had my first real life encounter, which is I took a bunch of my money and I bought stock in a very, very well-known company based upon somebody else telling me it was a good stock. Unbeknownst to them and unbeknownst to me, that company had made some very poor strategic moves, which caused the stock to plummet, and I lost every dime I had at the age of 21. Can you believe that? Because it happened to me. And it was a life lesson, which is number one, do not believe other people unless you've researched it yourself, or unless you have a trusted advisor who has researched it for you, okay? Your family is not a good source for information. Your friends are a terrible source for information. And the source that's for your information is your trusted advisor. These are the specialists who do this for a living. Now, I say this because I learned a brutal lesson at age 21 when I really, at 21 you think, oh, I got it going on. No, I didn't, because I lost all my money. And I was furious. And my friend, their response was, well, don't feel bad, I lost mine too. Like, really? Then give me some of what you got left, and I can go from there. So what I'm saying to you is, again, understanding and taking responsibility for your scope of authority, taking responsibility for the decisions that you make that impact on yourself first. If your family, your bad decisions are going to impact on them too. And do not be dismissive about those decisions because they have lifetime consequences. When I think about at 21 having $10,000, that was 45 years ago. That's a lot of money. And I blew it based upon somebody telling me what they heard. And then they took satisfaction. Well, I lost my money too. I'm like, really? This is not how I want to do this. First, I take responsibility for being ill-advised, being young, and being naive. You got to take responsibility because the market was brutal. Bam, bam, next. Okay? Learned an early lesson, very early, and glad I learned it because that propelled me to go into the financial services industry, first in acquisitions and mergers, and then moving on into bonds and equity-based investments back in the day, because I was like, this ain't never gonna happen to me no more. And I really meant it. And God ordered my steps so I was able to do that. And I thank Him every day that I have the authority over my own life. The decisions I make are carefully thought out. I seek the counsel of others who are seasoned and experienced experienced, and I always do the best. I don't just see any attorney. You pay for what you get in America. And attorneys are like doctors. There are all kinds. If you're specialist, that's the first place you as an individual want to work with an attorney who specializes in a particular area. Because then you know they have put in time and energy and resources into that area. Very important. Of course they're going to know more than your general practitioner. It's no different from a doctor. You go to your general practitioner doctor for general stuff. If you have more specialized needs, they're going to refer you on, or you're going to call direct, but you're not going to get them confused. It's no different in my world. You work with specialists. People say, what the heck do you do, Miss Graves? And you're the money lady. Does that mean you lend money? Does that mean you're a banker? Yes, I am. I'm a banker. Right. But I'm also involved in many other aspects of money. Insurance, real estate, investments. I work with a network of advisors, certified senior advisors, specialize in nursing homes and long-term care options. All those people are part of my network. I'm involved with a major long-term care agency in this state. I've had them on my show. The best, okay? So that you will have conductors that can give you good, solid advice. So I'm prejudiced about this show because I double dare you to find this someplace else in America. Just Google, blah, 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 and see who else is doing this consistently and has been doing this since 1982. Did you hear me? 1982. I started doing television. But prior to that, starting in 1976, I started writing financial columns in small papers, big papers. It didn't matter to me. Did I get paid any money for any of this? No, I didn't, because my motivation was not selfish. I wanted to educate the population so that people could begin to make good decisions for themselves. And many of you use my advice, and it has done you well, and it has blessed my heart. It really has, because I believe that's a God thing. I believe you have to be willing to pour into other people to get good returns. Now, have I had other people to disregard my advice, my guests, and my person call me on the phone and give me a piece of their mind? You know what? That falls in the category of lack of self-control. Something I said irritated you. And in America, people believe they have the right to give you a piece of their mind. And you know what? I don't want a piece of your mind. I don't want any part of your mind, because your mind is taking you down a road called destruction, because you don't respect good, solid advice. You don't. So here we go. So this year, 2017, I'm going to start with my group, which are baby boomers, the largest demographic shift in the United States history. Start talking about baby boomers about 4 years ago. I told you, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. That's people born after World War II. You know, all those men came home, and you know what they were thinking about, and voila, here we are, up until 1964. Largest number of people born, period. And baby boomers changed the face of America in terms of how we looked at life, did life, because our parents overindulged us. That was a problem. They actually didn't want us to live the way they lived. That's an honorable thing, but I really do feel that you should have dropped us on our head because some of us just never worked it out. We brought to the universe hot pants. We brought marijuana, not cocaine, marijuana. We brought protests, Vietnam War, flower power, Black Panther Party. We brought all these things. We brought women's liberation and burning bras, higher divorce rates, women like, I'll see you later, I couldn't stand you, now I'm out. That is what the baby boomers brought to the culture of America, which is a loosey-goosey, rather undisciplined way of life. The majority of baby boomers did not know what self-control meant because their parents were busily trying to give them all the things they didn't have. So they took vacations. They spent money. They bought houses that were way too big from the little Cape Cod houses that their parents bought under FHA and VA. These are different types of government loans. And they decided, I'm going to live life, I'm going to do what I want, I'm going to dress the way I want, blah, 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 blah. This has consequences because now the first wave of baby boomers started last year, which I'm one of them. And for the next 20 years, 33 million baby boomers are going to be leaving the workplace and transiting into another way of life. Now, according to the statistics, and I read them every day, 68% of them are going to leave the workplace with a house that's not paid for, meaning with a mortgage. Majority of them, 86%, are going to be homeowners, but of that 86%, the majority of them are going to be in debt to a bank. That's right, it's not your house till it's paid for. I talked about that in an earlier show, which is, don't you ever think for 1 minute that that house is your house until the title is freed of encumbrances, meaning no mortgage liens. It's not your house, okay? Just a fact. But what's brutal is to retire with a mortgage, because baby boomers, because of the lack of self-control and lack of discipline, and I gotta have it my way, Burger King, I'm doing it my way, get away from me, don't you read my lips, my way. Okay, so there you are. Now, why is that important? Because in retirement, things are going to change. And for many of us, whoa, first thing, you thought you were going to have more money saved up. The money doesn't grow on trees. And if you're busily spending more than you're making and credit card fund, then you're going to have a problem. So, my first recommendation for 2017 in the area of financial fitness for baby boomers is get yourself on a budget, okay? And live below your means. That's the first thing. You can get budgets online, Google budget. You'll get templates, they even got apps where you can go on your smartphone or your iPhone and download them and start tracking how you're spending your money. The thing about retirement is that you're not going to have the same financial resources as you had when you're working because you're retired. So everything that you have is literally frozen in space. And therefore, if you're not tracking how you're spending your money, then you have a problem. Now, for many of you, that may not be an issue. You say, I got money. And I will say to you, here is the joker. You know, if you play cards, you know about the joker's wild. Here's the joker. Don't get sick, okay? Don't get sick, all right? If you get sick, you may find your savings begin to whiz out the window fast. Now, I'm sorry. The human body is not guaranteed to last in perfect condition forever. It's not like a car where you can replace a part. Some things with the human body cannot be replaced, and that's over. Done, finished, kaput. Next. So, many, according to statistics I read, where many baby boomers, in fact, they said the majority of baby boomers did not have enough money to cover them in the event of a catastrophe, meaning health catastrophe. Whew, that's serious, particularly if you're talking about cancer, you're talking about heart problems, you're talking about things that happen to people as they age, okay? But I got some solutions for you. I'm just laying the foundation for what I'm talking about here with this generation called baby boomers. You're going to be hearing the term all over the place because it's here. It's not coming, it's here, okay? We won't be able to go to fight any wars because we're just too daggone old, okay? So don't look for us to be running over to Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Bolivia. No, we're not able, okay? Most of us are not able. We've given our best years, and now we want to just kind of rest. But you don't want to rest broke, which is why I said your budget. And I threw in a joker's card and said, uh-oh, healthcare. What have you done for that? Okay. Do you have long-term care insurance? That's not optional. When the statistics say that over 70% of us are going to need it, who's going to take care of you? And before you say, I'm going into an assisted living, oh no, that's not what I said. I said long-term care, where somebody has to care for you and aid and assist you just getting through your activities of daily living. Your going to the bathroom, getting dressed, cooking, cleaning, things that you think are pretty commonplace when you are well, not when you are recovering or trying to recover, or not when you're in a situation where you may never recover. You know, there are some sicknesses that you don't get better, okay? Then you say to yourself, my children will take care of me. And I'm like, what form of medication are you on today? I just talked to you about sphere of authority. You're responsible for you. Your children are not responsible for you. It's a nice thought. And if you got a good child or two that wants to step to the table and can financially, then fine. But you need to operate under, I got to take care of me. And so long-term care has to be a part of that. And you say, well, how do I afford it? Well, I got some answers, because I don't put forth a suggestion without having a solution. And I do have a solution for 2017 for baby boomers. And it's not the stock market, it's not investments, it's not even insurance, although on the subject of insurance, unless you expect your family to pay for your insurance at your demise, you're going to need insurance. Now here's the catch-22. The majority of people do not have insurance when they leave their jobs. They had group insurance, which was very cheap because you're going up under a group experience. And when they leave their employer, they have nothing. But they do have issues, health issues, which means that they need insurance, but it's going to be harder for them to get insurance. And surprise, surprise, you're going to pay more money for insurance at that age. Why? Because insurance companies are not churches. They have to make profit. They know when you're going to expire statistically, and they price accordingly. And if you have conditions, some of them won't touch you at all. In fact, a lot of them won't. Okay, this is what I do. I'm telling you what I know. I work with guys and ladies that do this, final expense. And most people are shocked. I mean shocked that, my God, I can't get that much coverage, and then it's expensive. And I say to them, not to be callous, but you've had your whole life to get insurance on your own when you were healthy and it was cheap, and you'd have it today, but because you didn't, this is what we have. And oh, well, I'll wait till next year. Well, it's going to be higher. Well, I'll shop it on the internet. It doesn't matter. Everybody's working with the same data. The only people that get over on insurance are very young people. Okay? So I encourage grandparents, get insurance on your grandchildren because it's cheap and it's permanent. I mean, cheap insurance. Seriously. I have it on mine. It's cheap. Why not? Give them a leg up so that when they're older, they have permanent coverage. Okay? These are little things. But back to you and what I was talking about before, about this issue of financial fitness and about aging and what happens. And I said, now you got to deal with this insurance piece. And don't play with that. You know, you can give me a call. I'll be glad to help you. But the rules are the rules. Partied away or just forgot a large portion of your life. And I'll say this, life moves fast. When you're young, it's like, my God, can the day get over? But when you get in your 50s, you then begin to notice that things move like zzz, and shoo. And you just, you know, you're like, oh my God, you know, oh my God, oh my God. OMG, as the kids say, OMG, OMG, oh my God. Whoo, yeah, life went like a jet. And you were the one watching. So here we are, here we go. You retire, you lose your benefits. Hopefully you're 65 so you can get your Medicare. Medicare is health insurance for people 65 and over. Okay? If you retire under 65, you need to find out before you sign the papers what kind of coverage you can get. Because most employers do not pay for your health insurance. Okay? It's a fact. And there are a couple of ways you can go. And I'm not an expert, but I do have friends that are experts on this type of thing. So if you're coming out of the system and your wife is still working, encourage her to stay working and try to come up under her. If both of you are coming out, then you're going to have to go into the marketplace and find something that's going to provide you with coverage. Because what you don't want is to wind up in a situation where you are going to the hospital, ER, and you have no insurance. It's really scary out here right now. And they're talking about repealing Obamacare, and I'm like, what? Do you not know how many people are benefiting from this? I don't care if you don't like the man. You just got to know that you can't do that. There's a lot of people out here that are sick and are scared. And if you're going to retire and you don't have benefits, this might be an opportunity. This might be a venue for you. Again, I'm not an expert on that, so don't ask me. Remember what I said, you got to identify when you're looking for conductors, who is the expert in that area? Not me. But I am an expert in solutions because I've seen so much over my 45 years in this industry that my hair should be white as snow. Really. It should be white as snow. Why? Because people don't get it. And it's not because they're deliberately trying to blow themselves up. Most of us are never trained on how money works. And that is, once it's out the door, it doesn't come back. Once you spend it, it's gone. Some things you have to spend, that's mandatory. But most things are discretionary, and that's where you mess up. People tell me, what kind of return can you guarantee me? I said, wait a minute, what kind of return can you guarantee you? Because you want 100% return on your dollar, don't spend it. What? Exactly. You want 100% return on your dollar with zero risk, don't spend it. Don't spend it. Don't spend it. Save it. That's what our grandparents did. They saved it. That's what our parents did, most of them. They saved it. No exception. 100% return. You watch your money grow like zip. Why? Because money says, oh, you're so responsible and I think I'll stick around. Okay? So, easiest thing in the world, don't spend it. Okay? Second thing, when people come out of the workplace with these mortgages and they're on a fixed income and now they got other expenses because you got to deal with your, if you're under 65, you got to pay your health insurance premiums, got to pay your life insurance premiums. You got lifestyle issues wherever you are paying your mortgage. And you're trying to figure out, and you got your 401k money, you may have your 403b money, but you're trying not to tap on that because longevity is reality. Do you know the fastest growing group of Americans out here today among seniors are centenarians? That's people over 100 years old. Yeah. If you ask them, and I do, how's you feel? I'm surprised I'm still here. You're going to be here too, thanks to medical advances and medicines, prolong life. But if you cannot live life qualitatively because of limited resources, it's something different, particularly women, because so many women are still alive. And the quality of their life is not necessarily that great. Got an answer for that too. Okay, so money lady, if you were in my situation, what would you do? And I would say to you that if you have a mortgage, the first thing I'm going to recommend to you to do today, and I don't care what your financial advisor has told you, is to make moves today to get a HECM, home equity conversion mortgage. HECM. They used to be known in the day as a reverse mortgage. They're not known by that today. Things changed 3 years ago. The government is involved. It is a federally insured product, congressional oversight. What is a HECM? A HECM is a mortgage. But you just told me to pay off my mortgage. I am saying to you, I want you to get a different kind of mortgage where you pay off your existing mortgage and you take on a mortgage with no monthly mortgage payments. How do you like that to increase your cash flow? Exactly. Now, before you say, but I heard that's for certain types of people. Anybody with good sense would not want to be paying a mortgage. Okay? Why would you want to pay a mortgage to a bank when you can have an instrument where you have no monthly mortgage payments for as long as you are in the home? That is the truth. And before you say, well, I want to leave it to my children, you still can. Make sure your will is properly drafted and make sure that those title issues are addressed before you start talking about leaving an asset to your children. The reality is a reverse mortgage is just a mortgage with no monthly mortgage payments. Another neat feature of this mortgage is that if you die and you owe more on that home than the home is worth, the federal government eats it. There's no liability to your heirs. That's powerful, okay? Very powerful. You can rest at night. The other thing about that mortgage is the money that you've freed up can be used as you so designate. You need long-term care insurance? Hey, write a check off of the equity account in that HECM product. Now, advisors, you should be jumping up and down because your clients now have a solution. Interest rates are so low, it's not even laughable. But more importantly, and I say this to advisors, in our new climate, where people are dealing with real issues of lack of resources, You have a fiduciary responsibility, whether you like this product or not, because you're still thinking about that mouse that I talked about at the opening, which is, oh, we don't do that. Excuse me. Your clients are going to try to do this with or without your knowledge, because as their resources begin to shrink, they're looking for help. Remember the statistic that says the home is now the largest untapped resource for retirees. And why are they scared to top it? Because they're still thinking about the mouse. You know, like IBM and Xerox. I don't know about that. I don't know. That's not for me. Yes, it is for you. Yes, it is for you. I'll talk more about this in my upcoming shows, but let it suffice to say that your strategy for having more income and less headache is very simple. It's called a HECM, and it will enable you, properly structured, to do more than you ever thought you could. And please, please take a look at it, carefully consider it, and this is chapter 1 of my 2017 recommendations on financial fitness. If you're a baby boomer and you're leaving the workplace, make sure your health insurance is okay. Make sure you have life insurance. You don't have to have a lot. Make sure you have life insurance for yourself and those grandbabies, because that's cheap for them, not for you. Make sure you have a budget that is reasonable. And if you have a mortgage, come out of it and get yourself a home equity conversion mortgage, which is just a mortgage with no monthly payments on it. I can talk more about it, but that's just good enough for today. I'm Michelle Graves, affectionately known throughout the United States for over 30 years as the Money Lady. Wishing you, as always, love. That's unconditional love, even with your little ratty cousin. Peace, which is the most important thing in life, is peace of mind. And you'll have peace of mind when everything is in balance. The conductor's conducting your orchestra, and you're the conductor. And joy, which comes from heaven, doesn't come from earth. I'll talk to you soon. God bless you. You take care.